video, I will show you how to use the z-table to find probability. First, let's look at the z-table plot. The z-table is about the area under the curve between 0 and a z-score. Only this area. So this area is the probability. So this is the table value in our z-table. And in the real life, and we want to figure out the probability, sometimes it's not only from 0 to a z-score, maybe higher than some number, maybe lower than some number, maybe between two numbers. So let's see case by case. If we want to find out the probability that the z-score is higher than a negative number here, or smaller than a positive number here, then we shade the area. Remember, higher, that is everything on the right, and smaller, that is everything on the left. So in the property of the distribution, we know the total area is 1, and it's symmetric. So this area is 0.5. And this area is also 0.5. And this area, this part, is the table value. And also this part is the table value. So the probability will equals to 0.5 plus the table value in our z-table. And similarly, if draw the picture like this, and we will recommend you to draw the probability curve because it is the simplest way to find out probabilities. If you are finding a z-score smaller than a negative number here, or bigger than a positive number here, so this area is the table value, and this area is also the table value. And together, this whole part is 0.5. And this whole part is 0.5. These two pictures are symmetric. So the probability will equals to 0.5 minus the table value. And sometimes we may be interested to find out the probability between two numbers. So if you draw a picture like this, from a negative number to a positive number. So this is the table value according to this z-score. And this area is also the table value according to this z-score. So the whole area, it will be at the two probability, two areas together. So it will equals to the table value for 1 for the first z-score plus the table value for the second one, plus the two table value together. And sometimes between two numbers, maybe between two negative number or between two positive number. These two pictures are the same because they are symmetric. And this area is the table value. And also this whole area from here to here is also the table value. So the shade area, they can be the two areas minus. So it equals to the table value for 1. So let me change the color to give you a sign. Maybe use the red color or yellow color. So this will be, this whole area is the table value for 1. Okay, so this is the table value. Okay, and minus this area. So this is also a table value for the second number. So it will be the table value for 1 minus the table value for the second one. And remember, you need to use the bigger one minus the smaller one because probability will be never negative. Okay, now, and you may notice the z-table, the biggest number in the z-table is 3.09. So anyone higher than that number, that is an outlier. And for example, 5, higher than 5, so this little area. And we can't find the z-score in the z-table. So you can either use 3.09 instead, or this small area is almost 0. And similarly, -6. So this small area, we can't find 6 in the z-table. And either you can use 3.09 again, or this area almost equals to 0. Very, very small. Now, let me use some examples to demonstrate how to use the z-table. First, z-score bigger than 2.06. So first, let's draw the curve. So let's draw a bell-shaped curve. And the middle is always 0. So 2.06, it should be somewhere here. 2.06. And we put a line here. So bigger than, it should be everything on the right. And if you look at the picture, it's tail probability. It should be 0.5 minus the table value. So equals to 0.5, this half, minus the table value, this area, because the z-table is only this area. So we need to use the z-table to find out minus the table value. We need to find the z-score 2.06. So 2.06. So this is the second decimal. So it will be here. So minus 0.4803. And let me see another example. And you may notice equal or not equal in the continuous random variables is the same. So here, bigger or equal is the same as bigger. Now let's draw the curve first. A bell-shaped curve, and the middle is 0. Negative 1.45, it should be on this side. Negative 1.45, and put a line. Bigger than, it will be everything on the right. So if you look at this picture, it should be equal to 0.5 plus the table value according to 1.45. So if you look at the z-table, 1.45. So this is the first decimal and the second decimal, 5. So the crossing is the table value, 0.4265, and you can add them in, 0.9265. Okay, so this is bigger than. So bigger than may be bigger than a positive number, may be bigger than a negative number. And the easiest way is draw the probability curve, shades the area, you will know is 0.5 minus or 0.5 plus. So let's see smaller than. Z-score smaller than 0.73. So let's draw the curve again. And the middle is 0. So 0.73, it should be somewhere here, 0.73. and put line here. So smaller than, it should be everything on the left. So if you look at this picture, it should be 0.5 plus, because this including this half, 0.5 plus the table value according to the z-score, 0.73. So let's look at the first column, 0.73 is the second decimal. So the crossing is the z-score according to the table value. So it will be plus 2.2673. And you can calculate the result. And similarly, smaller than a negative number. Let's draw the curve again. The middle is 0. Negative 1.48. Negative 1.48. It should be on the left. And put a line smaller than. It should be everything on the left. And also it could be smaller or equal. It's the same. So this is a tail probability. And if you look at the picture, it should be 0.5 minus the table value according to 1.48. So 1.48, 1.4, and the second decimal is 8. So this is 8. The crossing is the table value. So it will be 0.43 or 6. And you can calculate the result yourself. Okay, so this is smaller than, maybe smaller than a positive, maybe smaller than a negative. So draw the curve, shades the area, you will find the probability 0.5 plus or 0.5 minus. Now let's see another example, between. So let's draw the curve again. Here is between one positive, one negative. The middle is 0, so between negative 1.82 and between 2.51. So from here to here. So this is the area. So between two sides, it will be the plus A plus B, the two areas. So this area plus this area. So equals to the two table value plus. First, the table value for 1.82. So 1.82. So 2 is here. So this is the crossing. So the table value is 0.4656. And for 2.51, so 2.51 is here. So this is the crossing, 2.51. So the table value is 0.4940, and you can calculate the result. So when the 2 z-score is one positive, one negative, plus the 2 area. And let's see one more. 2 negative. So draw the curve. Middle is 0. So negative 2.25 and negative 1.2. So from here to here. So if it's on the one side, you just minus the 2 table value. The table value 1 minus the table value for 2. And remember, you need to use the bigger one minus the smaller one. So the bigger one is 2.25. 2.25. 5 here. So this is the crossing. 0.4878. And for 1.2, so 1.20 is here, 1.20. This is the crossing. So minus 0.3849. Okay. And similarly, if between two positive numbers, the same. Draw the curve, highlights the area. Middle is 0. So between 0.52 and 2.28, from here to here. So this is on the one side. Then the probability, it will equals to the two table value minus the table value for 1 minus the table value for 2. And remember, use the bigger one minus the smaller one. So the bigger one is 2.28. So 2.28. So the crossing is the table value 0.4887 minus the probability according to 0.52. So 0.52. So the crossing is here, 0.1985. And you can calculate the result. So if between two numbers, if the two numbers are two sides, one positive, one negative, plus the table values. If two sides, the two numbers on one side, either on the left or on the right, you just use the two table values minus. Okay, now let's see some outliers. Zero. So negative 5.58. So from here, bigger than, it should be everything on the right. Okay, and it should be 0.5 plus the table value. However, we don't have 5.58 in the z table. The biggest one is 3.09. So you can either use 0.5 plus this number, or you can simply say it's almost to 1, because the picture can tell you it's almost everything. And similarly, the other one, draw the curve. Middle is 0. So 8.86. Bigger than, it should be everything on the right. And the same. We don't have 8.86. The bigger one is 3.09. So you can either use 0.5 minus this number, or from the picture, it's a very little tiny tail, so almost 0. Now, let me show you how to use the z-table in reverse. So all the examples we did is we know the z-score first decimal and the z-score second decimal, and you can find the probability. So this is the table value in the body. That is the probability. Now, there may be some case which is you know the probability, but you don't know which row and which column. So this is how to use the z-table in reverse. Let's see some examples. So find out the probability higher than which number. It will be only 10%. So that will be the 10%, the top 10%. So we will also draw the curve, highlights the area. It's a bell-shaped area. And the middle is 0. So the top 10% higher than, so it will be the top 10%. It should be this area. So this area is 10%. And remember, the table, in the z-table, it is only this area, only. So which means you need to always find out what this area is. So this is top 10%, and this is half of them because each side is 50%. So this should be 40%. 0.4, which means I know inside is 0.4 and which row and which column according to. So 0.4, we need to look inside of the body, the table value 0.4. Unfortunately, we don't have exactly 0.4, so we find out which is the closest one to 0.4. And we find out this number is closest to 0.4. So this number is which row? It's 1.2. And the column will be 8. So this z-score is 1.28. And we can find out the z-score. So this is the opposite. We know the probability, we just don't know the z-score. So we need to find out which row and which column. Okay, let's see one more. Show the curve. And the middle is 0. Here, z-score smaller than which number? It will be 1%, which means it is the lowest 1%. It should be on this side. Lower than which number? It will be the 1%. And remember, the z-table is only this area, and because it's symmetric, so the table value is also this area. You need to always find out what this area will be. That is the table value in the z-table. So this is 1%. So together, this half, it will be 50%. So this will be 50%. This will be 50%. So this area, it should be 49%, equals to 0.49, which means in this body, the probability is 0.49, and we need to figure out which row and which column. So we need to look at the z-table. The closest one to 0.49, it will be this number. So which row? 2.3. And which column? 3. So the z-score, it should be 2.33. However, look at the picture. It is on the left side, so it will be a negative number. So it will be negative 2.33. Be very careful. If the z-score is on the left, it will be negative of the z-score. Okay, so one more. Let's see. Find out the z-score so that higher than the z-score, it will be 70%. So let's draw the curve. Right now, we don't know the z-score is on the left or on the right. We can try. If the z-score is on the right, so put a line bigger than, so it will be everything on the right. So this area is 70%. And from our common sense, it's impossible because this is half, 50%. How this small area will be 70%. So this is impossible, which means the z-score, it should be on the other side. So you can try yourself. So the z-score, it should be on the left side. Let's draw the curve again. The middle is 0. So higher than which number? Put a line in this starting from this number. Higher than, that will be everything on the right. So this area is 70%. And remember, you need to always find out this area or this area. So this is the table value. So this area, it should be 20% because this area is 50%. Which means we need to look at the table inside, find out 0.2, where it is. Let's see, the closest one to 0.2, it should be this number, close to 0.2. So which row? 0.5 and 2. So 0.52. And remember, this is on the left side. So this number should be negative 0.52. Okay, let's see one more. Smaller than which number? It will be 95%. So let's draw the curve again. Middle is 0. And this is 50%, and this is 50%. Smaller than which number? It will be 95%. From our common sense, it should be on the right. Smaller than highlights the area. So this area is 95%. So the total area is 95%. And we need to find out this area because this is the table value, this area. So this will be 50%, half. So this should be 45%. And now let's look at inside. Where is 0.45? And we can find out the closest to 0.45. Actually, we have two numbers, this one or this one. So you can either use one of them. Either 1.64 or 1.65. Either works. So this number, it will be either 1.64 or 1.65. So we can use the z-table either finding the probability if you know the z-score, or opposite. If you know the probability, you can also find out the z-score in the z-table. So please also watch the next video for some applications and examples for real questions. That's all for this video.